Hey, what up, mi gente? This is Gladys and Stephanie
Hey, what's up, guys?
with Single Moms Chisme, coming to you today with real life, real laughs, and most importantly,
Real
real
chisme.
chisme.
Hey.
Hey! So, it's no shocker that this is our first podcast. It's been kind of brewing for, let's just call it a few months. It went from being an idea to actually having a concept around what we wanted this podcast to represent for us. And really for it to be a platform for single moms to have a voice and be able to share the things that they're going through, their successes, their struggles, wins, all of the above. I also wanted to touch base into who we are so you know who you're listening to, who's Gladys, who's Stephanie. And let's go ahead and dive into that. So I'll kind of start us off. So, again, my name is Gladys. I am 39, about to be 40 this year.
Woohoo.
In June, did I think that I was going to be a single mom with two kiddos at 39 years old? No, I didn't. But you know what? That's okay. It's all in God's plan. So I have two kiddos, a 12-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. I've been a realtor going on 9 years this April, which is insane because at one point it was just a dream to do real estate. I used to previously work at T-Mobile and, in corporate America, so I was kind of scared. Already being a single mom at that point, just to take the leap of faith and believe in myself that I could do more than where I currently was. But I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie to tell you a little bit about herself.
Yeah, well, first of all, we were talking about this before we started recording, but Gladys is turning 40 in June. And I said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And what are we going to do for your birthday?
I want to do a murder mystery dinner. So, for you guys that don't know what that is, it's exactly what it sounds like. So, you go to dinner, there's kind of like a whole show in the background. One of the dinner guests goes missing, and we have to figure out who it was that murdered them. So, I think that would be super cool. And Stephanie, you can come.
Yeah, we have to do it big. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to do it big.
For sure.
Yeah, and then my name is Stephanie, and I am, how old am I? I'm 38. I'm a single mom of one kiddo. He is gonna be 8 in March. I always tell like what is that? Two truths and a lie, and I always include the I didn't know I was pregnant, and I found out when I was like 8 months. And then people were like, "No way!" And I was like, "Yes, wait, for real." Like I thought I had cancer. Like,
oh no!
I was like, "Dude, why do I feel so much pain? Why do I feel so tired?" And I was like, "There's something wrong with me." And one of my friends was like, "You need to take a pregnancy test." And I was like, "The doctor said I couldn't get pregnant." And so I was like, "Okay, well, let me just take it." So took the pregnancy test. It came out positive. I was like, "What the heck?" Went to the doctor to get a sonogram, and then the doctor was like, "How many weeks did you say you were?" And I was like, "Girl, I don't know, like 16 or I don't know. I'm just guesstimating." And she goes, "You have like almost a full-term baby inside." And I was like, "No way."
Wow.
She was like as shocked, and then I was like shocked, and I was like, but yeah, so that was that story. And then I had like 3 weeks to prepare until he was born. And luckily, family and friends came together. We got all our stuff together, was able to have my son. We have to talk about like pregnancies and the way that happened later on, because
yeah,
there's some stories, man. There's details to that. But
definitely.
yeah, that's how my son was born. So he is a miracle child because since I didn't know I was pregnant, was doing all kinds of things during that year, and the fact that he came out normal is a praise report in and of itself. So I call him my miracle child, and I thank God for him every day, because without that kid, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have pushed myself to get to where I am today. So I've been single for a little bit over a year, like officially. I was in a long-term relationship for like 5 years. That was on and off for 5 years, and I was just done with that. So that's where I am today as far as being a single mom.
Nice.
So it qualifies me to be a single mom.
I remember when you first told me that story about you didn't know you were pregnant. I'm like, you and I just went to happy hour and drinks not that long ago. Like, what? It's something you just hear in a movie or on a show, but here we are.
And that's when that show, I didn't know I was pregnant, was like out there. And I remember telling, you remember Jess at T-Mobile?
Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
I think she was there after you left the store, but I remember having that conversation with her. Shout out to J Stu if she was watching, listening. I remember telling her, yeah, the doctor said I couldn't get pregnant, and, like I had PCOS, and it was going to be impossible for me to get pregnant. So I had that in the back of my mind that I was just never going to get pregnant. And then lo and behold, it was like
God had other plans for
God
you.
had other plans for sure. So that was that.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad because Matt's the cutest, sweetest kid. And him and my son are bros, so
Yeah.
that's what's up. I also wanted to talk to you guys about why did Stephanie and I decide to create a podcast. Originally, it was my idea. I had been wanting to do it for a while. It had just been in the back of my head. Again, it was just an idea, but it kept getting like stronger and stronger the more that I would think about it. So one day I saw Stephanie at Sam's, and I told her, "Hey, listen, I think I'm starting a podcast. So do you want to be my first guest?" She was like, "Well, what's it going to be about?" And I said, "It's going to be like a single mom's podcast." Again, just to kind of give us a platform and a voice to share what we're going through. And she was like, "You know what? I'm down." But once we did our first little kind of like blooper reel of getting ourselves out there, she was like, "You know what? Let's do it. I'll be your co-host." And I'm like, "Heck yeah." I feel like we have a better flow that way versus kind of it being like an interview situation. So here we are. And that's why I originally decided to do this podcast. But what does it mean for you?
When Gladys reached out to me and she brought up the podcast, I was like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. I think it's always been in my heart to be kind of a light, or just to kind of show other single moms like you can still live out your dreams. You can still do what you want to do. Like you don't have to be stuck. We talked about that earlier. Like being a single mom, it's not a sickness. It's not like
That's
a
not a
handicap.
handicap. Mm-hmm.
It's a superpower. And unfortunately, like in our day and age, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of single moms out there, and sometimes the days get hard. They get heavy, and we don't have, like, we can feel like we don't have an outlet to let everything out. We don't have people that may like completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the spouse or the partner to go and like cry on their shoulder or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's like, no, we have to cry on our pillow. And
Exactly.
yeah, so I think it's really important that we get this podcast out there for other single moms so that they can have that platform and they can
Mm-hmm.
be heard and know that they're not alone.
Exactly. And since you're on that subject, I think it's important as well. There's some sort of like an unspoken pressure that I don't know if society puts on single moms or if we put it on ourselves, but I know I feel that way. But this unspoken standard to kind of feel like we have everything together all the time. Like there's no room for error when you're a single mom. Like you have to give them 100% of your time and put food on the table and, work on a career uh, and cook because nobody wants your kid eating fast food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we cook too much, then we're not treating them to go eat out to dinner. And it's just an endless list of check boxes that we have to check off. And if we're not checking off these boxes, then we're failing. And the truth is, none of that is the reality. The reality is we're doing well. We're single moms, right? We have to do well out of necessity, but instead of just surviving now, we're thriving because we figured out a way to make this work not only for us, but for our kids as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the societal pressure that comes from the outside, that's one thing. And I think for like single moms, we have to deal with the healing aspect. We have to deal with the things that we've gone through, the traumas that we face, whether or not father is in the picture or not. There's struggles both ways. Like for in my situation, I'm a solo parent. That's what I call myself. Like I don't always say single mom, but I say I'm a solo parent because it's just me, and I don't get like child support or anything like that. He's just not in our lives, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But
Same.
yeah,
Yeah, literally same. So both of us are in the exact same boat. So it's Mine income, her income, and that's it. There's
Yeah.
no other, source of income coming from, like you said, the other parents at all.
Yeah.
So,
Anything that comes into this house, it's because I work my ass off for it. And every avenue that I'm doing right now is it's something that I'm building. And I mean that's another thing too, is like we're talking about like the societal, like I guess like their opinions, their criticisms and things like that. But once you go through that, like the healing, and you start like just self-analyzing yourself and just being more self-aware, you start to realize like, hey, I don't have to listen to any of y'all. I don't have to, like, I will take the criticism and the input of my close circle, which is like pretty much my family and a couple friends. But other than that, if you don't contribute to my household, you don't pay my bills, you don't, do anything like that, bye,
right,
bye, bro.
right.
Like, this is me. I got here, is me and Jesus. He got my house, we got the car, we have, I have everything in line because I'm the one that got out there and did the work. I didn't stay where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been so easy to do, and been so easy just to like self wallow and just stay there in, in the pity. And that wasn't an option. Like, that wasn't an option for me. What am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do here? This
Mm-hmm.
is this is not going to work. Living in the back of my parents' house in their apartment, am I going to stay here? No, no. That's part of that was part of my story and my coming up, and Gladys was part of that too because she helped me buy my house.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always say, like, God brought me out of there. And so from where we are now, where I am now, God's going to take me to the next level, and we're going to go to the next level, and we're going to keep going. And that's how I see it now. It's like, as a single mom, you don't have to stay where you're at. Yes, I understand that it hurts. Yes, I understand that that there's pain and there's healing that needs to happen. But don't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Continue
Mm-hmm.
to grow. Continue to do it for you, for your kids.
And another thing that I think it's important too is I know that we have so many things that we need to do as single moms, right? Because we don't have like the other parents' help. But I also think that it's important that we allow ourselves that time to feel so that we can heal, right? Because there's been moments where I'm going through a lot and I try to just consume myself with being busy with work, with friends, with kids, so that I don't have to feel these dark seasons. But in reality, the only thing that I'm doing is I'm prolonging those dark seasons instead of facing them head on, allowing myself to feel all of those emotions of sadness, crying it out when I need to. Uh, and it's okay also for your kids to see you cry, right? I know for the longest time I tried to hide any emotion from them aside of happiness, but that's just not reality. They need to know that it's okay to feel sadness, it's okay to be angry,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to feel all of these emotions and then let it out, dust ourselves off and keep moving forward and pick ourselves up.
I think with that too is like, we also have to learn how we have to be brave enough to ask for help when we need it. And
Absolutely.
that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as single moms, like, it's hard to do that, and because we've gone through so much where you like, you feel like it's a mistrust, like, nah, I got it or whatever, and I can do this, and I can do this by myself. I got it. I don't have to worry about you or whatever. But the reality is like, when you do prolong it and you do like ignore the feelings, or you try to just suppress it, it's gonna come up.
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna come up, and at that point it's like, what can I do? I Yes, like, pray to God, reach out to God. That's always like at the forefront of my mind. It's That's where it comes from. But also, to build that, you have to have your like close knit community. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have your inner circle that you know that you can count on. And hopefully this kind of brings more single moms together.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, that would be the ultimate goal, so you can build that relationship
Right.
with other single moms, to rely on each other and reach out to each other
I
to do
agree.
that.
Yeah, and even I mean, it's honestly as simple as like getting coffee,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like meeting for lunch, running errands together. It doesn't have to be like a super grand gesture for you to, ask for help and hang out with somebody just to vent, right? To
Yeah.
let them know what it is that you're going through. Like a lot of times I feel like the stars have to align in order for me to meet up with one of my girlfriends or a family member or something like that for them to
Or
just,
like plan ahead and like,
yes,
oh my
or
god,
plan
let me
ahead.
schedule you in real quick.
Yes, exactly. Like it doesn't have to be that drawn out, especially because if you're feeling these feelings today, you may not be feeling those a week
Mm-hmm.
from today, right? You've probably already suppressed it. So it's important that when you're feeling that way, reach out to somebody. If that
Yeah.
person isn't available, try somebody else. Like I said, I mean, even a phone conversation that's helpful too,
That.
for sure.
And then like we were just talking about the like technology. Like there's apps out there like Marco Polo and things like that, or Snapchat, whatever. Just send like a quick video. If you need to vent to somebody, like send a quick
Right.
video to your friend and have that conversation as the day goes by, because we all get busy. Like we all have things that we gotta do, and it's like the day gets away from us. But at the end of the day, like, oh, I have a message from my girlfriend or whatever, and then you can listen to it and respond when you have that time. But even just those little things, like we get it. Like I get it. Like it's not always easy. Hey, let's go meet up or whatever. Not everybody's
Right.
always available, and when it does happen, it's like, oh, I'm like, this is cool. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I mean, like I said, it could be as simple as like a phone conversation, right? But even if it's only 10 minutes, after those 10 minutes, I literally feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. Just
yeah,
being able to share and vent and go through or go over what I'm going through with them is so helpful. So
that relationship and that connection definitely is what it's what we need.
yeah, exactly. So that old saying, "It takes a village," has so much truth and meaning now. It's so true.
It does, and I feel like in the village, it like I said, like the village is not paying my bills. So there's like that's another, I guess, part of like the healing. I remember, like, for example, when I was living at my parents' house, and it was about healing me first. Like I needed to take care of what I was going through, because there was depression, there was anxiety, there was like I hopelessness. I told my mom, like, I feel stuck. Like I feel like
Hmm.
I'm never gonna get out of here. How am I gonna do this? There was just no light at the end of the tunnel for me. And I started to look into like coaches and looking into how other people who kind of gone through what I wanted to accomplish. And at that point, like I was overweight. I was at 360 pounds. I was just bad in health, bad in mental health, bad in every kind of health, I think. But to start seeking the assistance from coaches and people who have been there and done what you want to do, that's important too. Like if you don't go out and seek it, then it's you're never gonna move. You're never gonna get that. That's how I got the hope,
Hmm.
to see other people. And that's hopefully like what we're doing too, is like allowing other single moms to see like it is possible.
Hmm.
She did it. What and I You can do it too.
Hmm.
It's not just for her. It's not just for her. It's for you too.
It's for all of us.
Yeah.
And one thing that you mentioned just now, you said, I have to take care of me first.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, Stephanie and I were talking about how it's easier for me to talk to her or my other girlfriends or my family and ask them how they are and help them deal with all of these problems that it is that they're going through. And in a sense, I feel like I was doing that to kind of like avoid the things that I was going through, because for whatever reason it's always easier for me to solve other people's problems than it is to kind of face my own. And even whenever we were doing like our first trial run of our podcast, I mean, Stephanie asked me something as easy as, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I seriously had like a long pause, like I didn't know what to say, because I'm so used to just listening to other people speak about themselves. So it is definitely important that we put the oxygen mask on ourselves first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we can go out there and pour into our kids, pour into our friends, our family, anybody that needs us. But our cup has to be filled before we can pour into others.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we were just doing like intros and stuff, but it's important because we need to know your story, girl. We need to know where you're coming from.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll leave that for another episode because our stories can be kind of lengthy, but
Lengthy and they dive deep.
they do dive deep. So yeah, but we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
We just wanted to give you guys like a little tidbit of who we are, why we wanted to do this podcast about single mamas and all the things that we go through.
I think for sure, like this first episode, we had initially recorded on
Yeah.
Monday when the kids were out of school for our snowstorm, and I was like, no, leave it in there. And then I was like, no. After I heard it, I was like, no, let's not turn that one in, because you heard the kids screaming in the background, which was a perfect example of what being a single mom is like.
Exactly. Especially when they cancel school because it's cold outside.
Yeah, and so we had my kid, the neighbor's kid, her kids, all in the house, and it was just chaotic. And I was just like, it's funny at the time, but I was like, no,
Yeah.
you never turn in your first draft to your teacher when
Right.
turning in an assignment. I'm like, let's do this again.
Especially after I heard it last night, I was like, yeah, no, we can't have this be our first episode. We need to do better for our audience because this is just all over the place. So here we are.
But yeah,
doing better for you guys.
The episodes, I think what you guys can expect from us is just a different list of topics on what single moms go through, relationships. We're going to talk about, we're hitting the depression, the anxiety,
struggles, wins.
overcoming things, challenges. So I think it's going to be a good relative overall encompassing of what single moms go through. And like I said, we hope to build a community of that, but also other people who are not single moms. I think moms in general can just relate to our content.
Exactly. Yeah, moms in general. And we're not like men haters either, right? Yeah. So, a lot of men don't really know like what moms go through in general.
I just thought of that song. There's a man eater.
Yeah. No, we're not man eaters. We're not man haters. It's just, this is our lives, right? So it's of course what we know best. But men can definitely benefit from listening to our podcast just to kind of relate to their wives more, to their girlfriends more.
Yeah, or if you're thinking about dating a single mom, you never know.
Yeah, get ready, be prepared, because it takes a specific kind of man to date a single mom. And again, we'll leave that for another episode because there's a lot that goes into that. But definitely, thank you for tuning in. And if you know somebody that can benefit from this, please share it.
Yes, definitely share it. Get the word out there. We're so excited to get this podcast out there, get it started, moving forward. And I don't know, we're just like so excited. I really am. This is something, it's brand new. Right now I have my hand in a lot of cookie jars, like as far as like my business and things like that. But I'm so excited to do the podcast and get off my chest what needs to get off my chest. Like say what we need to say.
Yes, and I'm gonna save the best for last. I know the our podcast is called Single Moms Chisme, so don't worry, there will be lots of chisme in our podcast to come. It's not just all like single mom struggles or
yeah, it's gonna we'll tell you some stories, guys.
Yeah, we have some stories. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story just for a little bit of chisme today, right? A little bit of chisme because we have 5 minutes left, and I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So today I'm on my way to drop off my 12-year-old daughter to school, and I turn the corner to go down the street that we always go down, and I see a car in a tree. Literally a car, like in a tree. Like it's ran over. The tree's like under the car. And I just keep driving. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I cannot keep going, right? I don't know who's in there. I don't know if they're okay. I don't know anything. I just saw a car in a tree. And I thought, if that was me, I would want somebody to stop and render aid, right? So what do? I tell my daughter, babe, I have to turn around. I have to go make sure that if somebody's in there, that they're okay. Mm-hmm. So I turn around. When I turn around, I put my emergency lights on because this is only like a 2-way street. So there were still cars coming behind me, but I turn on my emergency lights. I get off the car. I open the passenger door, nobody in there. And I'm like, what is going on? I know this just happened because you could see smoke and stuff like that coming from the car. So I opened the back seat. There's a car seat in there, but nobody's in there. There's a baby bottle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did they just run away? Like, I don't know what happened. In the midst of that, another car pulls over and there's this man and he's also looking in there. And I'm telling them, hey, there's nobody in there. There's nobody in the car. I already checked. It's all
Uh-huh.
clear. And he seemed like almost like concerned or like guilty. And I said, did you see these people? And he said, yeah, I just saw them like zooming past me. And I'm like, well, did they cut you off or something? Like, it almost seemed like he was responsible for the crash in some way or another. And he went to go check on them. But
Mind you, guys, this is the first time I'm hearing this story too.
oh,
so
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
what the
fair.
heck?
She's in it. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I dropped off my daughter. We ended up just leaving. And I ended up going back down that street to go to my next appointment. But there was a cop there and all of that. And I saw some lady in scrubs. So I guess she left just to maybe go call somebody. I don't know. But that's my chisme for this morning at 8 a.m. already. So there's lots of stories.
Oh my gosh.
Lots of stories to share.
Was it because of ice?
No, it wasn't even icy this morning. I don't
No.
know. Maybe she was just speeding. Yeah.
Oh, like that guy. I don't know if you're in San Antonio. Did you saw that crash on 35 where he hit the
on
hit
your
the
bumples?
Yes.
Yes.
And he said that somebody cut him off, but somebody recorded him and like clearly nobody cut him off. Like he didn't even brake, and he just like went into the side and like.
I saw that.
Just hit it.
Scary.
Dude, San Antonio. Yeah. I don't know.
Be safe out there, guys. Be safe.
Drive better.
Yeah, do better. But anyway, we love y'all. Thank you again for tuning in, and can't wait to drop this episode. And stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah.